connected. I don't think we've had any trouble at all in this
No,
recording process.
we have set this up professionally. We are not having any trouble getting online for sure.
Yeah, and that's the way it should be, right?
Yeah.
He's supposed to walk in, press a button, and bam, you're done.
Yep.
Here's the problem with that: a little thing called Twitch exists.
Yep.
So, we're joined today by who is this? Where did we find her?
Off the street.
Off the street. That's
I was
right.
just walking by.
Yeah. John, you clubbed her? Is
Yeah,
that right?
yeah, that's right. We saw this female walking by as we're coming back from getting pre-show beer. We clubbed her and we brought her in because we thought she'd be a nice addition, to the show.
Yeah. And to the office now, apparently,
So for those listening / watching, because we'll also be attempting to stream this as we are recording.
Yeah, attempting is the very, very important word here.
So the audio for the podcast will be absolutely fine. That'll be golden. But the stream, that may go one route or the other. But with us today, we have Lindsay, my wife, because she is also... she wanted to be a part of this.
Oh, you didn't ask me at all. You haven't been bugging me for the past few weeks.
To be fair, you've also been really persistent.
Yes, I've insinuated.
Yes. So we finally made the time to get her on the show and to align all of our schedules. And
that's not hard.
That's extremely hard. What better time to do that than for Game of the Year stuff? I mean, this podcast kind of came into existence with Game of the Year originally, with Andy and I doing it.
Yeah.
So it feels right that with every Game of the Year, maybe add on another person.
In 5 years, we'll have like 25 people in the same room doing this thing.
That's the goal, right?
Maybe for you.
It kind of does sound like its own nightmare. So we are here. How's the stream look, Kenny?
I think it looks fine.
Cool. Love it.
I
won't talk about it again then.
Yep. Don't look at it. Unless
so
you're watching us.
Don't look at the camera. Can I not give it a?
You can. You can.
Okay, Lindsay, you want to give it a? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Love it.
The diva route,
Nice.
yeah.
And for those listening, she gave it a nice little Chun-Li peace sign. So yeah, Game of the Year. We're here to talk, and we're gonna start at the top of our tally because we have many superlatives to hand out. It is not just flat like here. We're gonna talk what we think is Game of the Year and be out. But we're gonna run off of a list of about 20 different superlatives. I mean, I don't think of a better way to put that, right?
Yeah.
So, at the top, best unfinished game.
Okay.
Okay, Lindsay, would you like to name off our best unfinished games?
All right, we have
Our nominees, rather.
we have Paragon, Ark Survival Evolved, and 7 Days to Die.
That's it.
Yeah, it's the shortest list that we have.
I have two I'd like to add.
All right, let's go.
Okay.
Astroneer
Okay.
and Tyranny came out this year, didn't it? It did. It came out last year. Sorry.
Okay. So Astroneer.
Yep. Then I've only got one to add.
Okay. So you did get a chance to play that then.
Yeah, it's fun. So there are a few wonky systems in the game, but I think that it has a lot of potential. Like some of the more annoying things is like the tether system.
Yep. And how much it limits you, right?
Yeah, because you have to have a tether wherever you go.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's vehicles in the game yet, or maybe there are. I just haven't gotten to them yet.
Yeah, it's not that I've seen.
But the tether system, like they need to fix that.
It needs to be automated to a certain degree, right?
Yeah, I feel like it needs a little bit more.
It needs some more flesh.
Yeah, because right now especially if you're playing multiplayer. I jumped on with a buddy of mine, and if both of you are throwing out tethers and stuff like that, you can get a pretty good area of. And
I'm sure the colors between the tethers are exactly the same right now because it's early access, right?
Yeah. I mean,
so you just see a mass of tethers going every which way.
Yeah, and it looks really bad. Like I wanted my space station area to look nice and clean. You can't.
And so, Lindsay, you're going to have no idea what this game is. Astroneer is a open-ended survival game, much like your Minecrafts, right? But this is third person behind the back. You play as an astronaut, and you have to work with the environment. Right? You're getting salvage, you're mining, you're doing all these things, but everything is tied to your tether and how you are going to hold on to your oxygen supply. Without a tether, you have a very, very limited oxygen supply to go out and venture forth. So the whole game is kind of built around expanding your base to a certain degree.
The UI elements are something that really struck me as cool. It's kind of
Yeah.
like
But well, the lack thereof, right? Like, 'cause
Yeah.
it's very focused around like your backpack.
yeah, it kind of reminded me of Dead Space in the way that they
Mhm.
use the exosuit to show like your health meter, your
Yeah.
oxygen meter, and all that stuff. So instead of having traditional health bars, you have like a green bar on the top of your backpack that represents how much health you have. You have a blue meter that represents how much like oxygen you have. And honestly, if you go off tether in the beginning of the game, you probably have about 30 to 45 seconds of oxygen to get around and do things without finding more oxygen.
Enough to panic, right?
Yeah, and you don't want to go too far away from your tether.
And the visuals really sing home one of the greatness about the game. It is very stylized. It's
yeah.
It's sci-fi.
Well, I mean, not only is it sci-fi, but just the way that it looks in general. Like
Yeah.
it's
I just
it's
like you say sci-fi.
it's oddly
halfway interested.
it's oddly sharp and polygonal.
Yeah. It's almost it's I think it's maybe voxel.
Yeah, maybe yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. But yeah, Lindsay, you can see
Yeah.
there for yourself just real quick, not to break up the recording too much, but Astroneer, it is a thing.
I like the visuals.
So yeah, working off this list, we have Paragon, Ark Survival Evolved, 7 Days to Die, Gang Beasts, and Astroneer.
Now, Ark Survival, you just recently did you hear about it before?
It's been out for quite a while.
But,
No,
I
it's
mean,
been out for a
okay.
long while. This is a game that has been in development,
Yeah.
some would say, for too long,
Too long.
even.
Yeah.
This is one of the first like
Yeah, and to clarify,
MMORPGs on the PS4 though, right?
it's debatable if it's an MMO.
Okay.
To a
Yeah.
minor scale, it has things that it shares in common, but it is not an MMO. So to go with our unfinished game topic, this is all early access, alpha, beta. Like it covers everything that is not done and released. One thing we have to talk, like, you know, of these 5 games, which one do we feel like can be cut just out the gate? Honestly, I'm gonna go with 7 Days to Die can be cut out the gate.
Yeah,
I have fun with it. It is an enjoyable game, but I am a zombie fanatic still to a certain degree, and I just enjoy zombie games. But it is not. It is not deserving of best unfinished game.
yeah. Yeah, and it's been in development for like 3 years. It feels
A
like.
long time on PC, and
Yeah.
it has only recently come to consoles.
It was fun. I mean, we had fun playing.
Oh, I'm in no way even
Co-op.
done playing the
Yeah.
game, but it is, like I said, of best unfinished. You know, if we have to be real objective with all these categories.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it was broke as shit on consoles.
Was, yes. Yeah, I will give that
Yeah.
with a hearty plural there. Or a hearty past tense, not plural. Sorry. So yeah, 7 Days to Die. I'm just going to go ahead and eliminate from this.
Okay.
That leaves us with Paragon, Ark, Gang Beast, Astroneer. I would like to get to Paragon last, just
Yeah.
because
You
of
just
obvious
threw in-
reasons.
You kind of just threw in Gang Beast. I forgot to read that off the list.
Well, that's
beforehand.
because Gang Beast is still indeed unfinished.
It is.
Yeah, I like Gang Beast.
It's so good.
Well, let's weigh something that I feel is kind of similar: Gang Beast and Astroneer, just off the levity aspect, right?
I think that's really hard to measure those two. Let's see.
But there's a certain amount of levity and lightheartedness to both of them that I feel are very similar.
Yeah. Ugh.
Gang Beast is more to me like it's more of like a couch game though.
Yeah.
Like hey,
But that's
you're
not what
gonna
this
have a bunch
that's
of
not
your
what this
friends
category
over.
is. This
Okay.
category is best unfinished. Is Gang Beast better than Astroneer, or is Astroneer better than Gang Beast?
So I think at that point we're comparing apples to oranges.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
One's like super fun and
Or,
lighthearted.
okay,
and
if
one's,
you
like,
wanna compare- if you wanna compare-
survival.
We'll let Kenny, if you want to compare apples to apples, Astroneer, Ark Survival Evolved.
Oh.
These two are
Yeah.
of a similar genre.
I mean, just because of the nature of Astroneer just coming into early to access,
Yep.
I would have to say Ark just objectively.
Mhm.
I think Astroneer will end up being a better game.
Yeah.
But if I'm being objective here, I would have to say, Astroneer is not going to be nearly as because I guess my problem with this is Ark has been out in early access for a number of years now.
Yes.
And it's hard to compare it to Astroneer.
And right now it's not best potential. It's
Sure.
best
So,
unfinished game
I
as
guess
it is.
I'll do it. I'll do it. It's gone. There you go,
Okay.
John. Are you happy?
And this doesn't make me happy, Kenny. No. These are things that just need to happen.
Okay. Okay. So let's just go ahead and call this like it is.
Uh-huh.
Paragon's going to be the winner of this.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean,
Can
let's
we
just-
have it
let's just be
unanimous,
honest with
though?
ourselves.
But let's just say why, because I mean, we have.
Oh, we can talk
yeah,
why.
we can say why.
We can talk why. I'm gonna make I'm infamous for my bold statements, and my bold statement is going to be Paragon is the best damn unfinished game, and is also the best damn MOBA of 2016.
Okay.
Okay.
Opinion, bold statement, personal preference, whatever you want to call it. Paragon is god tier action MOBA for me coming out of this year.
Yeah.
It is a game that it is one of the few games that I can count on one hand, and we'll get to those later in the deliberations as well, that I'm thinking about when I'm not playing it. I'm thinking about when I'm, when I have a loose moment at work, when I'm parked at a red light, or, whatever the case is. Paragon is one of those that I want to be playing all the time. Sadly, this is the real world, and there are other obligations or bodily needs.
Yeah. To not get too specific.
Yes.
So do we want to go ahead and just remove Ark and Gang Beast?
I wholly feel that
Let's
Ark
not make
and
this more difficult
that
than it
Ark
is.
and Gang Beast cannot stand up to Paragon.
Yeah, I agree. Like, as much as I've heard a lot of people go nuts over Ark, and I've given it several tries.
I've had fun with it so far.
I liked it. My biggest issue is it's just janky. There's
Yes.
a lot of issues with that game's performance.
Yes, you are not wrong.
That is the thing that I would say that really is holding me back from saying Ark is even needing to be on here.
Mm-hmm.
So I say, well, let's just go ahead and do it.
Yep.
It's done.
Yeah, it's gone.
It's
there
gone.
there
All
she
right.
is.
So
best unfinished game of the year goes to
Paragon.
Paragon.
That's so
Yay!
surprising. Yeah.
Congratulations, Epic Games.
Yeah.
You guys are legit. Thank you. Lindsay, what is our next topic? What is our next superlative to hand out?
Most, and I'm putting air quotes to this, surprising. Game.
So what does most surprising game mean, John?
Absolutely. It is. I consider this a twofold. The game that you had, we can just sum it down into something that you had preconceived notions of, or no notion of whatsoever, that upon playing it, or finding out about it, watching it, whatever, caught you off guard the most.
Okay.
And usually that's caught you off guard with, a drawn-in positive, right? You
Yeah.
know, of course. That's the whole point. But I think we only have like one negative superlative to hand out, and that's worst game of the year. But
Yeah.
so.
And we'll get there at some point.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So, most surprising game of the year, Lindsay.
Okay. Let It Die, Doom, Paragon, Overwatch, Watch Dogs 2, Titanfall 2, Legion,
Well,
WoW.
World of
Legion,
Warcraft.
World of Warcraft.
Yep.
It's a tongue twister for me. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. My apologies.
Rise of the Tomb Raider, Super Hot, and Far Cry Primal.
And then I added 2 there just now,
Mhm.
Stardew Valley and Planet Coaster.
Okay.
Those are my 2. I'm sorry.
I'm not. I'm just.
I think
shaking my
Kenny's just
head.
going to add Planet Coaster to
To
everything.
Yeah. Trust me, I know.
and Stardew Valley. I'm sorry.
Kenny,
Yeah.
Like I'm okay with Stardew Valley being added to most of them, but Planet Coaster at some point it's gonna be like, does it really
Sorry.
belong?
Let me
Okay, I'm
talk
gonna let
this.
you talk about it. Yeah, go for it.
So I didn't know about Planet Coaster's
Uh-huh.
existence until it was about a month and a half away from launch.
Okay.
And then I saw the initial trailer, and I about peed my pants because I was like, "Oh my god, this
So
is."
you were a really big Roller Coaster Tycoon
Yes.
fan
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
something about me. I am a very big fan of engineering games in general.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I saw that and I was like, okay, this game is going to be, it's Frontier, it's
Yeah.
the RTC guys doing what they do.
Yeah.
And that game just kind of came out of left field.
R
And
RTC roller coaster tycoon.
did I say what did I say?
RCT.
Oh, sorry, RTC. Sorry, I'm sorry, John. That my speech just.
Well, I was just trying to elaborate because I don't think most
No.
people are gonna know
Yeah,
what
that
that stands for.
Yeah. So so that game kind of came out of left field for me, and then once I saw it, it was just I've put so many hours in that game so far.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
for me, that game I feel like has to be on this list.
So you didn't think you were going to care about that whatsoever?
I just didn't know about it. Like,
Okay,
I had no
okay.
idea. Like I saw that like those guys were gonna do something a while back, like 2 or 3 years ago, and then I
Yeah.
just stopped tracking the progress.
Okay.
And whenever it came out, it was just a really big surprise. And same
Yeah.
thing with Stardew. Like Stardew, I don't think anyone knew about, and then it
Mhm.
just came out and wrecked my free time.
Okay. So I'm going to right out the gate vote that we cut Paragon for most surprising game because I knew what it was going into it.
Yeah.
My only surprise has just been how much I've wanted to play it.
Yeah.
And aside from that, I knew what the game was.
Yeah.
I knew that it was a MOBA. I knew it was an action-focused MOBA. I knew I had my expectations based off of other MOBAs in general.
Yeah.
And I just knew that they were bringing Epic Games caliber of oomph of
Yeah.
art design of whatever that
Yeah.
entails.
I think for that same category, we can also nix Overwatch.
I was thinking the same
Yeah.
thing. I mean, because even though it's a new IP, it's Blizzard. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone was keeping track of it for a while. They've seen trailers.
Yeah.
They are expecting
Yeah.
it to be.
Well,
a big game.
everyone knew that it was Blizzard's take on Team Fortress 2.
Yeah.
And to that degree, I was not surprised. When I played the beta,
Yeah.
I played like 28, almost 30 hours of the beta itself for Overwatch. I was not shocked that it was what
Yeah.
it was. I just enjoyed the fact
wasn't,
that it
yeah.
was as good as it was, right?
Yeah. One I kind of want to hang on to for a little while,
Mm-hmm.
at least, is WoW Legion.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
'Cause
yeah,
I
we'll
didn't-
we'll wrap back around to that
Yeah.
one then.
I didn't think that one was going to be good.
Yeah,
And I was very pleasantly surprised.
Let It Die surprised me, for sure.
Yeah.
But it just surprised me that was even a game.
Yeah, that even got made.
Yeah, like that was even real. Like I don't even know how to put it to that degree. What was surprising is not anything that it brought to the table or anything that it does, just the fact that it sheerly exists. And I don't know if that's deserving of the superlative of most surprising game.
Yeah, that's fair. No, I get that. I mean, it's Suda,
Yeah.
so
And
I mean-
I respect what that game is and what it's doing. The biggest letdown for me is the free-to-play aspect.
yeah.
I would enjoy it much more, and I have played much more of it, and I've played a fair bit so far. If it wasn't free to play, and granted, that doesn't have anything to do with this category, but just the fact that I'm just surprised with the existence, not anything to do with the game.
yeah.
Nothing that the game is doing surprises me.
Yeah. So, do you want to cut it or do
Yeah,
you want to
I'm for cutting Let It Die.
Okay. Next up we have Doom. Yeah, I think that this absolutely has to be on this list.
This Doom personifies surprising for me.
But why? Just like because it was so good.
Oh,
so
man.
what was
Oh,
so
man.
surprising?
No,
Is it
okay, I'm going to stop you right there,
Okay.
Lindsay.
because you
All
guys
right,
have been
Kanye.
following. Doom,
Yes, yeah, yes. I'm my
Okay.
Kanye moment. Okay, going into Doom, I was not going to purchase this game. I did not care
Yeah,
about this
that's-
game.
yeah.
This game has been in development hell, right?
Since like 2010.
Yes. And then we played the multiplayer beta, which was
Yeah,
not good.
Which was
I remember
garbage.
that.
And I'm
Yeah.
even an apologist for the multiplayer multiplayer beta as it stands now. But that original online, or excuse me,
It
the
turned
multi,
a lot of people
yeah,
off.
Yeah.
I mean, it was about to turn you off.
yes.
after you
Well,
played
it
that
wasn't just that; it
demo.
was multiple things. Like I hadn't seen anything out of E3 or any press
Right.
conference that had sold me on it. None of the gameplay. It was not what I wanted out of Doom, especially being a story Doom fan. Like that was one of my first video games really immersing myself into as a child. And this was not Doom what I was seeing. So it wasn't until the game actually launched, like literally within 24 hours of the game coming out, still having no intention of buying it, to where I go, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna go.
Yeah.
And you rented it and then you bought it.
Yeah, I did. That is how it even panned out because I didn't have the trust in it, and I fell head over heels and platinum that son of a gun. Like that
Yeah.
was
Yeah, like I remember whenever before the game came out, they didn't send out review copies.
Yeah, that
And
was
I
a big red
thought,
flag.
like,
Apparently, that's just like bad news for everybody. Even if it's an awesome game, apparently, if they don't send out review copies to everybody.
well,
right away.
because of the success that Doom has had with that, Bethesda is now going to use that as an excuse.
Yeah.
Like that's going
well,
to be
they said that originally that was a game they started doing that with was that Doom was the cutoff point for all the for that.
I still think they're a corporation. They're lying.
Yeah, I do
that,
too,
I
but-
think that they were trying to protect themselves after the failure of the public or social failure of the multiplayer beta of Doom.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, it came out and it was fantastic. So
Yeah.
I was very, very
In all
pleased with
regards.
that.
And that goes with, I mean, like I said, sure, the multiplayer beta sucked, and the multiplayer as a whole, when it first came out, was kind of poor. But I think as it stands now, it's serviceable, right?
Yeah,
So if
I
I'm
agree.
looking as a complete package, I also got a serviceable multiplayer. Haters gonna hate there, but then also we have the what is it, the snap map stuff,
Yeah,
which is really fun. People have done some really creative, neat things with that, and I've made some maps myself that I like to play because I've catered it to develop or to react to my degree of challenge, my level of challenge that I want from Doom. But as a complete package, like, this game just blew me out of the water.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely, wholly surprising. So yeah. To go back to what you're saying, this deserves to be on that list.
yeah, absolutely.
And it's one that we're just going to have to fight down to pieces when we get down to
Yeah.
2 or 3.
I think this next one is yours, Watch Dogs 2.
Yes, I put Watch Dogs 2 in there. I was expecting nothing out of Watch Dogs 2. I got Watch Dogs 2 for free.
Yeah.
Because of gift cards and coupon codes. But I was just, I didn't want this game. I didn't want to have anything to do with it. And it wasn't until seeing public perception of the game that really got me into it. It is everything that I wanted Watch Dogs 1 to be.
What we should have
Yeah.
done.
Yes, what we should have
They
gotten.
promised that like every press conference before the first game was released.
Yes, and so that in and of itself is very surprising. One thing that does make me want to cut it, though, having said that, is that this game for me mentally is technically what we should have already had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I look at it from that perspective, am I really surprised? Like, what am I surprised by? Am I surprised that I actually like Watch Dogs 2, or am I surprised that you get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
and
It's a sequel, so I expect it to at least be better than the first.
Sure, yeah,
Sort of.
but for me, this is everything that I wanted Watch Dogs 1 to be. So just the fact that it is that game is what's surprising, and I don't think that's deserving enough, if you know what I mean. I don't feel like it belongs on that list because of that.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
So Watch Dogs 2, I say we cut it.
Let's cut it.
Do it. You are my cut man, Kenny. Cut.
Cut. Sorry.
Yes.
I was dropping the resolution of our stream. It looks like it's getting a little laggy. So
Okay, I'm gonna jump around a little bit. I'm gonna go down to Far Cry Primal.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm the only one at the table that played that.
I've watched you play it.
Mm-hmm.
I have watched a stream of someone playing it.
Okay.
I've watched him play it. Does that count?
It can.
And
even
here's
just
what
from-
you can expect with me going forward through all this is I'm going to go in with the intention of wanting to cut things. Like, even my own stuff, I'm going to say, like, what really needs to be here. Far Cry Primal, I basically, I just need a shout out for it because I wasn't expecting this to be a great game. I liked the setting, but I was really afraid that it was going to tread familiar territory. And sure enough, it does.
Because Ubisoft.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And there are some things that I equally love and dislike about the game, but as a whole, I was surprised with the amount of fun I had with it and the amount of hours that I sunk into it.
Well, just from watching you play it, I was just like, this combat is really nice. I'm like,
Yep.
this is a combat that I wanted to Dragon Age
Mhm.
so bad. I was just like, because it's almost the same but better. I'm
Now,
just
now
like,
which Dragon Age?
the last one,
Okay,
Inquisition, because it's a lot of like you have to stop and then pick what you want to do, kind of combat, like strategy based, but at the same time,
But it's not.
But it's not.
You're thinking of she's thinking of like the Batman aspect to it. Like, you have
Okay.
all these toys
Yeah.
to work with. And I guess the way she sees it like that is because when you pull up your item wheel,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
slows down time
Yeah.
to a huge
But
degree.
the thing is that I don't know. Like, for some reason, it just reminded me of what I wanted Dragon Age to be.
And that's
I don't know
odd
why.
because it couldn't be further removed. Like, they're both open world, and there you go.
Well, I'm just saying that because I was really disappointed about
Like,
Dragon Age.
Far Cry Primal does have some RPG aspects, but aside from that, like, they couldn't be further away from each other.
Yeah.
Like, the combat looked good.
Yeah, and that's where it lies. So I mean, for Far Cry Primal, shout out to you. I'm surprised you're as good as you are, but do you belong on this list?
No.
No. Kenny, what do
yeah.
you got?
I think next we're going to talk about Rise of Tomb Raider.
Yeah. Oh my
Um,
God.
I don't think this needs to be on this list at all.
Okay. Okay.
It didn't come out this year,
But it did.
but it did.
Listen.
But it didn't.
But it did.
But it didn't.
It came out originally on Xbox One last year.
Yeah, in 2015.
Yep. And
So
this
2 years ago.
I say, yeah, that's a good point. I'm still living in 2016. Damn it. We
Yeah.
were doing a recording for games of 2016.
Yeah.
But yes. So
Shouldn't
I'm
we
not.
move that to the remaster?
No.
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 It could.
'Cause
Yeah.
the
veritably,
graphics,
it
the
is.
graphics were.
Well, veritably, it is a port. So yes, it could
Yeah.
technically be on that list.
you can fight for it there.
But most surprising game of this year, I think I agree with Kenny. Like I'm with you.
Let it go.
It's gone. I'm putting it in the remaster.
I'm not even going to justify it. Most surprising game is not Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Okay. Now we have a game that I'm going to fight for.
He's gonna
Okay.
Talk about Legion.
Super Hot.
Oh no.
Okay.
That game is really good.
Yes.
Okay,
And
okay, you guys need to explain to me what is so awesome about Super Hot. 'Cause From
Everything.
what I've
Yeah.
know about it, I'm just like,
So
I mean, the mechanics look cool, yeah, sure, but I can't see why so
So
many people are
it's-
hyped up
I
about
can't
this.
talk about
Super
the
Hot.
story.
Super Hot is love and life and goodness.
Yeah, and it's one of those games that you can't talk about the story a lot because it's a lot of spoiler.
Yeah, you will ruin it very
Yeah,
fast
and-
because it's not even a long game.
No, it's 2 hours. Like I paid $20 for that game when it first came out because
Mhm.
they skipped early access. I think you could go and like sign up on their website for a beta.
Yep.
But like as far as I'm concerned, Super Hot was a perfect package of like just a game that was good. It did what it needed to do, and that was
I
it.
would argue that everything that Super Hot aims to do and does, it does perfectly.
Yeah, it executes very very well.
It all comes out just right.
Yeah.
Nothing
Um,
feels wonky. Nothing feels unpolished. Like
Yeah.
it all feels so finely tuned.
So what Super Hot is as you move,
Yeah, I
the
know.
environment moves. The
Well, time doesn't move until you move.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
get that
know.
part.
I
and the thing that makes that so neat is, you know, once you have completed the level, it'll go back and show you a real time, like, you know, you going through this level, and it feels so rewarding when you see at the end, you know, oh, I threw this vase at someone, knocked the gun out of their hand, grabbed them, shot it with it, threw the gun at this guy, ran over, grabbed his sword, and killed him. It just seems
Yeah.
really neat.
I would argue that the Matrix was so successful when it originally came out because people are like, "That's really cool. These are superhuman abilities.
Yeah.
I would like to do that in real life." But of course, people with a brain said, "Obviously, I can't do this in real life. I would like to do this in games. That's
Yeah.
my second best option."
Right.
I feel like Super Hot is the best distillation of watching the original Matrix movie and going, "That would be fun." I think Super Hot is the best incarnation of the Matrix.
Yeah.
That's my arguing
Yeah.
point for that.
I guess.
And-
I think it's the visuals that maybe kill it for me. I don't know why.
But, like, once again, that game was super surprising because
Uh-huh.
it did
It's
not...
super
Absolutely.
surprising.
Yes.
Well, like, I didn't know what it was until it came out.
Yeah.
And
and-
you also have to think about, you argue about the visuals. You didn't grow up with a love for games like Lawnmower Man. Or, excuse me, games. I said games. Movies like Lawnmower Man. Like the old style VR, even games and movies or media that sold us VR as like chunky, polygonal things, right?
Yep.
And Super Hot is that. Super Hot is that,
All right.
to a T. To a T.
So, for now, Super Hot stays on this list.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely. Kenny?
Let's go back to Titanfall 2.
We can. Titanfall 1, I hated.
Yeah.
I
What
really hated it. Titanfall 2, I didn't even think I was going to play. And in fact, I played the
Why did you?
online multiplayer. That's a good question. For the online multiplayer, I played it as well for Titanfall 2. Didn't enjoy that either. And I got it as a quick pick based off of I don't know, social preference, people singing high praise towards it, and that a certain retail outlet had a buy two get one free. And
Yeah.
so I was like, sure, I'll do
Yeah.
this one.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah, you were with me.
That day.
Yes, XCOM 2, I got you that day. But yeah, Titanfall 2, yes, surprising. Very surprising. From the story to the multiplayer, I enjoy every freaking bit of it.
Yeah, I think it's a really good game. I think like what made me end up picking it up was Jeff Gerstmann's like just absolutely glowing.
Yeah,
review
if
of the
we're
game.
if we're honest, I think that's probably for the both of us.
And after you'd picked it up, and I heard about like how good it was and all that stuff. I was just, okay, yeah, I'll pick that up.
Yep. But I guess then the argument becomes: should we be surprised that it is what it is? Right?
I think what we need to do is change this from Titanfall 2 to just EA shooters. Because like both
Oh.
Titanfall and Battlefield were really good this year,
Uh-huh.
and neither one of them had any right to be good.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I do think that Titanfall needs to stay on this list for now because I think
Yeah.
that it's a very, very good game.
Well, obviously for this list, Super Hot is up at the pinnacle, right?
Yeah,
And I feel Doom is up there as well,
yeah.
right?
So now we're fighting for that third spot.
So at this point, do Planet Coaster or Stardew Valley?
Oh, I was trying to deflect this as
Do
much
you-
as possible.
No,
Do
don't
they
let you do
do
that.
either of them surprise the level that Super Hot or Doom surprise on?
I think Stardew Valley does.
I would say yes. Yeah, I agree with you there.
Planet Coaster is more of a my type of game, more
Yeah.
of a Kenny game. I understand that.
Uh-huh.
So
I have those as well. It's fine.
I'll do this,
But
John.
but if we're being objective,
I'll do this. I did it. Okay, it's gone. It's gone, John.
But no, let's justify it. If we're being objective, Planet Coaster is what fans of Roller Coaster Tycoon expect. Like
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
that and more.
Yeah, whereas Stardew Valley is, made by one dude,
Mm-hmm.
and he crafted such a good game. Like,
Yeah. For one guy to spit out a perfect representation of what everyone loves about Harvest Moon and that franchise.
and not just Harvest Moon. Like I think that I know it is like a Harvest Moon clone, quote
Mhm.
unquote. But for me, there were so many parts of that game that just had so much personality, and that's what really sold it for me.
Even down to
was-
the writing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you have like really unique individuals that kind of aren't possible in a Harvest Moon game.
right.
So
I mean, it kind of blends the Animal Crossing esque thing, where you have like relationships with people in town and all that stuff, and that was what really made the game great for me.
mm-hmm.
So I'm going to fight for that one to stay on here a little bit longer.
Okay.
I would
So,
be okay with cutting Legion, as much as I don't want to.
And kind of how you feel about Stardew Valley is how I feel about WoW Legion.
Really,
Because I had no intention of wanting Legion. And after the last expansion, after Warlords of Draenor, I didn't care about WoW anymore. Like I was kind of done. So just the fact that it came out and it's so much more than what I expected, and that it took people like you and Tusky and like all these different individuals really singing praises to it to get me to even care, and
Yeah.
then to get me so immersed in it to where it is one of those games like we were talking about, one of those games that like when I have my dull moments during a day where I'm just like, man, it'd be nice to play some WoW right
I'd
now.
like to play some WoW. Yeah,
Right this minute, like
Yeah.
right this minute, I would like to play some WoW right now.
yeah. I know it's hard to cut that one off the list because I've had such a good time with it this
Uh-huh.
last year. This is the most time I've sunk into WoW since I've been since I've stopped working at GameStop.
Mhm. But then it comes down to, right, and this is me being devil's advocate of my own point, is the game surprising or is my reaction to the game
yeah,
surprising?
I think that's the thing.
And I think my reaction to the game is the surprising part.
yeah, I think that's what we have to look at objectively.
And
say,
I think I would
it's okay.
argue the same for Stardew.
I can't do that. Ah,
But go ahead and cut WoW. Cut
Okay.
WoW Legion. Gone. And once again,
Okay.
going off of that same point, is the game surprising or is my reaction to the game surprising?
I think it is the game itself that's surprising
Mm-hmm.
because whenever Stardew came out this summer, no one had heard of it.
Yeah.
No one knew what it was. No one had played it. It was just this random ass Steam game that hit the market and just blew up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
And I think you can say the same thing about Super Hot as well because
Yep.
I don't think I think it had a little bit more. Actually, I'm going to make this case, John, and
Mhm.
don't throw anything at me.
Okay.
I'm going to say we should cut Super Hot. Now listen.
He's thinking long and hard.
Now listen. Here are my reasons. Everyone knew that Super Hot was going to be cool as shit when they first saw it.
Yeah.
Everyone knew that it was going to be this stylized shooter, and I didn't hear anyone whenever the game came out go, "Huh, I'm surprised that game is that cool." I heard everyone saying, "Oh my God, this game's exactly what I thought it was going to be, and it's a lot, and it lines up exactly with what I thought it was."
It's true. I mean, 'cause he when he found out about it, I mean, he was already looking forward to it.
'Cause
We
when-
talked about it and kept going around saying super hot, super hot.
When I watched the trailer to that, and I said, "Huh, this looks super badass," and I
Mhm.
really want to play this. Whereas when I watched the trailer to Stardew Valley, I went, "This looks kind of dumb. I don't know if I want to pick this up."
You're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, as much as I do want to like pick up the table or
Yeah, I know. No, I know. I get it. Like, I just think that is the argument that defeats. Superhot.
You're right. Super Hot is Super Hot's gone from the list.
Now we have 3.
Yeah.
I think this
the
is
3
my
being
list.
Doom, Titanfall 2, and Stardew Valley.
This is my idea. I think Doom wins.
He just wants to get to the point. Apparently,
I think Doom wins. Runner-up Titanfall 2 and Stardew Valley.
I would even say that based off of the original Titanfall, we had more of a metric of what Titanfall 2 was. So it is less of a surprise, though still a surprise, especially in the single player and the quality of the voice acting, the story, even the multiplayer.
Yeah.
But I think Titanfall 2 is less of a surprise than Stardew Valley.
Okay.
So I think Stardew Valley. Yeah, I think you're right. I think Doom wins this, and Stardew Valley is 2. Yep, and Titanfall is the third man there. Yep, absolutely.
And we'll put all these lists on the site once we're done.
We will. Yeah, we definitely will. If Kenny can learn to type. But
that is the important part.
yeah, congratulations to Doom for winning most surprising game. Coming off of that, Lindsay, what's next?
best co-op.
Best co-op.
All right. We can just stop here. Overcooked wins. Mic drop. Done. Okay. Maybe not that far.
Yeah, I say we can. We have. What do we have, Lindsay? Well, let's go ahead and name off the tally here. It's another short list. It's only 5 games that made the nominees. If she can find them in her swath of 20 papers.
See, this is the problem.
Do you want me to read them
Oh,
off?
never mind. No, I found them.
Okay.
Okay, Paragon.
You need to be more ready, Lindsay.
Sorry. Hey, you just pulled me off the street.
I did. I
It's
cracked
true.
you over the head
There's
with
only
my.
so much I can do. Paragon, Overcooked, Risk of Rain, Manuel Samuel, and I think we threw in Gang Beasts.
Yeah.
We did.
Last minute.
We did
Right.
because that is this really cooperative?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
It's competitive.
more competitive than
yeah.
cooperative.
And it's not out yet, so
Right.
I
That's
would
true.
say we can go ahead and just nix.
Yeah,
Gang
Okay.
Beasts.
Yeah, go ahead and nix Gang Beast.
It's so good though. I just want to keep bringing it up.
No,
Yeah.
it's a great game.
There are a lot of games like that. There are a lot of games where I just feel like a mention of them in a topic.
Yeah,
in a
like
superlative
because
is good.
there's a lot of these games like that I didn't put in because they're in early access.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Um,
get that. Absolutely. So coming off of that, Paragon, as much as I love it, is it?
Is a MOBA considered co-op?
Yes. Yeah, that's a good
And
point.
I don't think
It
so.
feels like it because it's cross-platform.
I feel like
and,
you
but
can
that's
just
about it.
you can justify it as co-op.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I think if
But-
we're honest with each other, we gaming society and gaming as a culture has a very definitive. We have our vision set on what we believe is a co-op
Yeah.
experience,
So you have
right?
online multiplayer, and then you have actual.
Right, and
you wanna
co-op
call
doesn't
co-op.
necessarily have to be couch co-op. You know,
Right.
there's online co-op, but
Yeah.
I don't feel that Paragon or MOBAs in general embody what we think
no,
of
I don't
as
think they do at all.
as co-op.
No.
Okay,
so
so
we can
with
cut-
that, let's cut Paragon.
Okay, so that leaves us with Overcooked,
Mhm.
Risk of Rain, and Manuel Samuel.
Yep.
I feel like we're missing some games on this list. I really do.
I've gone there was a giant list, but none of them could compete.
Okay.
That's what it came down to.
Okay.
Which is why I'm going to say Manuel Samuel for as quirky and interesting as it is. It is a very neat game to play once over or to experience with new people constantly,
Yeah.
just to see their reaction to it. But it's the reactions to the game are more fun than the game.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's
So-
one of those
So
dark humor.
are we okay to cut that?
We are. I am.
Yeah. Risk of Rain, I think, was a great game.
Mm-hmm.
The problem I have with Risk of Rain is I don't think it did anything new enough,
Mhm.
like Overcooked did, to be able to say it wins best co-op. I think this category has 2 winners. I think that's best. the best game in this category is Overcooked,
Mhm.
and I think Risk of Rain is a good runner-up.
You need to sell me on Overcooked more.
Oh man, Overcooked is just it's so good. So as far as co-op games go, I think that Overcooked has done something that no one else has done in a long time.
Mhm.
It is a great couch co-op or online co-op game.
Yeah.
The whole point of it is you're trying to prepare food together.
Yep.
Right.
Well, let's course it down to this. That game becomes impossible to play solo.
Yes.
Okay.
So it is completely a cooperative game.
And here's my argument for Overcooked over Risk of Rain. So I'm going to help you.
Okay. Okay.
That's nice.
With Risk of Rain, I'm going to be very honest. I love it. It is one of my favorite games. Not only one of my favorite indie games, but one of my favorite games. It is just a core, like, morphine drip of fun for me. There is
Okay.
just something about it from a narrative, music, gameplay perspective, even art and art design style, that it is just a game tailored to my brain, if that makes any
Sure.
sense. Coming away from that, my best experiences with Risk of Rain have actually been playing it single player,
Yeah, I can see that.
because it is very rewarding on a constant level. And if someone isn't playing exactly the way you're playing, or not basically reading your thoughts or communicating with you, and it's like playing a soccer game or football, whatever it is, like playing a team sport together.
Yeah.
If you're not in sync with each other, they're going to hold you back,
Yeah.
right? So that's why I'm going to opt to cut Risk of Rain from best cooperative experience, because it is way more. It is undeserving of that, because my most fun with it in general has been as a solo indie game.
Yeah. Now I did just add one to the list.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh no.
Best cooperative experience, Overwatch.
Overwatch is an amazing game, John.
Okay.
I know you're not.
No, let's. But I say that Overwatch, as soon as you put it on there, is deserving of being cut in the same way that a MOBA is.
Yeah. It's just,
Son
yeah.
of a bitch. Yeah, you're right.
Same
Nope.
thing.
Yep.
Nope. You're right. You're right.
I feel like it's the same thing. Like, not that it's a
You
MOBA,
will get
but
your time to shine, Kenny. I promise.
Can I say WoW is same thing?
Yeah.
No.
does it embody what gamer culture?
Yeah,
what?
Okay. You win.
Yeah.
You win.
Yeah. Okay. So best cooperative experience. Kenny, would you like to do the honors?
Overcooked.
Yay!
So technically, you won, Kenny.
Finally.
You did. You won, Kenny.
I've won two
you
out
win.
of the 5 battles I've chosen to
All
fight.
right. Best remake, remaster, or port.
Now this is a meaty list.
This is
Okay.
And I feel like we can get through a lot of these real quick.
Excuse me for my little southern accent. Just FYI. Okay. Dragon Quest VII on 3DS, Darksiders, Odin Sphere, Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered, Ratchet and Clank, Gravity Rush Remastered, Valkyria Chronicles Remastered, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD, Shadow Complex Remastered, Day of the Tentacle Remastered, BioShock The Collection, Skyrim Special Edition, Halo Wars Definitive Edition, and Adventures of Manabita.
I added one more.
I
I added Planet Coaster because it's a
How?
remake of Roller Coaster Tycoon.
No!
Okay.
That is
No.
Kenny cheating for sure. I respect your effort. And Rise of the Tomb Raider was one that we added from earlier.
Yes.
That is not on your written list because we updated it in the Google Doc. So I'm gonna go through with just a butcher knife right now. Right?
Okay.
I'm gonna lay it
Well,
out.
we're used to
Let's
that.
cut. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Let's cut BioShock Collection because that thing ran like garbage on PC and a little bit on console.
Yes. Yep. I'm right there with you. I mean, we're being harsh here. Let's cut Skyrim Special Edition for
Yep,
the
I-
exact
That's-
same reason.
God.
Or just because.
I'm so sick of Skyrim.
Yeah, I know. It's on
just
everything.
Because
It's
of
not
the-
even-
just because a new console or just like machine or anything comes out. Apparently, it just
But it's not even that.
Oh.
You know, we're here to talk about the best remake, remaster, or port.
Let's get rid of Call of Duty because you have to buy Advanced Warfare to get that, and I don't feel like that's okay.
I feel like if I'm being real objective on just the game itself, it is just exactly the same thing. Like
Yeah.
it's updated
but that's what a
textures.
remake
Texture.
is, though.
Yeah, but like
A
it
remaster
should have
is-
something.
We're
else
talking
to
about
it.
the best.
The
we
best,
need.
okay.
We're talking about what is a remake, remaster, or port that also has soul. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it has. What has the gumption to
Right.
fight the rest of these bastards on the list?
Yep. So
Okay.
get rid of that.
Yep. I would argue that Halo Wars needs to be cut.
Yep.
It is Halo Wars. It is just it's Halo Wars.
In place of that, I'm gonna put King's Quest.
Okay.
because I actually really liked the King's Quest game that came out this
Me
last
too.
year.
But, and here's where I'll come back with that. Does it belong on the list?
I think so. I think that game was good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like they,
It's not a port. It's
Right,
not a
it's-
remaster.
well, it is a remaster. It's King's Quest was an old like LucasArts film game,
But
right?
but it does take creative liberties and takes a different story path.
yeah, well,
It is a different beast.
yeah,
It's like saying that the original NES Metal Gear games are the same as
well,
you
but
know.
like I saw it as like a remake, and maybe because I never played like King's Quest back in the day.
I did, yeah.
Okay, so to me, I thought it was just the same thing as like the Monkey Island remake they did a few years ago.
Oh, okay, okay.
Like I thought that's what they were doing with it.
No,
No.
no.
Okay. Okay.
And it is, but
Nope.
I'm okay.
It's gone.
I was okay with it sitting on the list. I
No.
was.
No. We're gonna cut it.
Okay, okay.
I think that we can cut Rise of Tomb Raider.
Wow.
And let me let me explain why, John.
Okay.
It was a good game in 2015. It was a good game this year. But did it do anything different than what it did in 2015?
Aside from better hair.
You got a point.
Yep.
You have a point.
Yeah, it was the same game. So
Mm-hmm.
it's gone.
I vote that we cut Darksiders
Yeah, I'm okay with
because
that.
it ran or as it needs a patch bad. If you can't get your audio in line with your video or your cutscenes, your cinematics, even if they're in engine,
Yeah.
that's a problem.
Yeah.
And frame rate issues, that's also an issue when you're bringing to modern consoles. And I say that as someone who is a huge Darksiders fan.
I think we cut Shadow Complex. Just because, like, honest, and this is just me.
Mm-hmm.
I played that game once, and I never wanted to touch it again.
I've played it 1.5 times. I like it because I'm a fan of Metroidvania style, right?
Yeah,
But there are better Metroidvania games,
yeah,
and it's not the best remaster, port, remake. It definitely sits in remaster and port.
yeah. I see 3 on this list that I think are the standouts for me.
Okay, let's go back to what you said. I vote that yes, we cut Shadow Complex. Let's get that out of there.
Okay.
Let's say goodbye. I also vote that we cut Day of the Tentacle.
Yeah, I don't want to because I actually really like that remake.
Same here, and
But yeah, I agree.
I was a huge adventure gamer back in the day, but
But is it enough new to really warrant this?
those games don't age well.
No.
I'm just gonna say it. They do not age well at all.
The inventory management systems don't age well. Yeah, I
Mhm.
agree.
They're fun. They're quirky. They're neat. But it's something that I'd much rather watch as like a short movie
Yeah.
than play. At
I
this
think
day
we
and age.
also cut Gravity Rush. Oh no! It looks like I hit John.
No, yeah, you're right. No,
'cause
I had to think about it for a
As
second
much as
versus
I
other
like
things.
Gravity Rush, I thought it was a good game.
Yeah.
My problem with it is it just doesn't do anything
Yeah.
new.
Yep, I agree.
Ratchet and Clank, I think, is absolutely on this list.
Definitely.
Odin Sphere is another one I think is absolutely on this list.
Possibly.
Possibly, okay. Valkyria Chronicles Remastered. Let's come back to it. Adventures of Mana Vita. This is you, John. Convince me
Yeah.
of why this needs to be on here. Because I didn't play it.
It's fun. It is an old school Zelda type game.
Yeah.
Right. So your top down Zelda is It's a good clone of that.
Okay.
But in that, it will never be what it seeks to be. It can only look up to Zelda
Right.
and look up to that style of game. So as much fun as I have with Adventures of Mana, and the Vita is the best way to play that, or the PlayStation TV, you can also
Yeah.
play it there. But it's not the best. It does not. It doesn't stand out enough.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna do this. So if I have to pick between Valkyria Chronicles and Odin Sphere, which I feel like are going to be my two choices,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna pick Valkyria. Or I'm sorry, I'm gonna eliminate Odin Sphere and take Valkyria Chronicles.
I agree. I wholly agree with that decision.
Now, Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess HD.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like Twilight Princess.
I'm a huge fan of Twilight Princess.
I just got a look from Lindsay.
Yeah,
It's my favorite.
Yeah, that's Lindsay's favorite.
Okay.
It's my favorite.
Okay, so convince
love
me.
Midnight.
I'm going to argue for Twilight Princess HD specifically, not just Twilight Princess, but the
Yeah,
HD version
the
for this
Wii U
reason.
version.
I think that is a game. I think it's one of the few Zelda games that is better on a second play than it is a first.
Okay.
Unlike, and I'll get some flack for this one, unlike Wind Waker. Wind Waker HD, I went back and played the second time, and I was
Yeah.
reminded of the things I didn't like
Yeah,
about
you're
it,
The
frustrated.
sailing.
and
Yeah.
pushing myself through it. To
Yeah.
where when I played it the original time, there was enough new and enough wow to it that I didn't think about the negative things to such a degree to where they really, really stood out playing the HD version of Wind Waker. The
Okay.
opposite happened with Twilight Princess in
Yeah.
that I started very strong with it. You know, I had I had a lot of fun, but my most fun from the original playthrough of it was, hey, I'm playing on a new Wii, right?
Yeah.
Because I bought it as the pack-in, or, you know, right when I bought my Wii back in, what year was it, 2007? Whatever
Yeah.
that was. But now I'm able to give it its own shine without having the new of a console attached to it.
Okay.
I'm able to core down and realize what the best mechanics, the best story moments, the dungeons, everything that I seek from a 3D polygonal Zelda game is represented in Twilight Princess HD in the way in which I need it. Like it has aged very well in that regard.
Okay.
So,
Why didn't you like it?
Honestly, I when I played it back on the Wii,
mm-hmm,
Right.
and the waggle stuff just broke me completely. Like
mm-hmm.
I did not want to deal with the waggle back in the day.
And it is so nice to play without the waggle, right?
Okay. All right, so we got 4 here.
We do.
We got to cut one.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon Quest or Zelda?
Okay, then Ratchet and Clank or
Oh,
Valkyria Chronicles.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. For
Who
me,
goes first? Who goes first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Since you just fought for Legend of Zelda.
Okay.
This is tough. It sounds like you guys both want Legend of Zelda.
I'll fight you both over one that we haven't even talked about yet.
Dragon Quest 7.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. But let's go ahead. Yeah, if I have to choose between Dragon Quest and Legend of Zelda, Zelda gotta go.
Okay.
Zelda gotta go.
But tell me why.
Oh, I'll tell you why.
Tell me why.
I'll tell you why. Zelda gotta go.
Okay. Okay.
Dragon Quest VII is the embodiment of best remake, remaster, or port. Not only does it bring everything that was great about the Dragon Quest series and everything that was great about that original game, but it cuts all of the bullshit from the original PlayStation 1 game. The creators have gone through with a fine-tooth comb. They have gone through with tweezers and picked out every bit of irritating grind, any lull in the story, any dialogue. There is not one single centimeter of that game that has not been touched and refined like a fine wine, like the highest caliber of it. It is prestigious.
Okay.
Dragon Quest VII for me is the living embodiment
So,
of best.
so to you, this is the winner of this.
For me, yes, I
Okay.
think so.
So I think what I'm hearing is, I think Legend of Zelda is going to stay.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've got to make this decision between Valkyria Chronicles and Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
And because I think Zelda is Lindsay's, I think Dragon Quest is you, and I think one of these two are me. And I think I have to lean towards Ratchet and Clank.
Yep.
Um,
I would agree because
Ratchet and Clank just did such a good job on not only just remastering their game, they added so many new visuals.
Yep.
They simplified the systems to make them super fun.
they worked over the story.
Yeah, they did a really good job on just making that game
Mhm.
that much better.
Well, then I'll go ahead and just give it to you because I mean, when I think best remake, remaster, port, it's just like, are you, like he said and like you said, have you really gone through your game and made it even better?
yeah,
I think Zelda is 3 on
yeah,
here for sure.
I think Now
I
we
mean,
need to
'cause-
decide which one's one
Mhm.
and which one's two because
Yep.
I feel like
Well, here's what it comes down to, and this is why I think Dragon Quest VII wins. Dragon Quest VII took a decent RPG with a lot of potential and made it. I'm gonna drop the expletive. Made it a fucking great RPG.
yeah,
Whereas Ratchet and Clank took a already good, if not great, game at the time
Yeah.
and just carried that forward into the modern age.
Yeah, I can concede that point.
Yeah.
So I think that we have our list in. Dragon Quest.
Dragon Quest VII,
Seven.
congratulations, best remake, remaster / port.
Yep.
Followed up by Ratchet and Clank sitting at 2, and Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess in 3. Lindsay, what's our next topic?
Our next topic is best DLC, add-on, or expansion.
I'm gonna be real honest, Kenny. Lindsay, actually, I'm sorry. Fill us in on what are the nominees.
WoW Legion.
Okay, carry on.
WoW Legion.
Okay. Yeah, I see a pattern.
I see a pattern. here.
Witcher 3, Fallout 4, and Hitman. Oh, and WoW Legion.
Okay.
So-
I say that we can piece off the Witcher DLC and the Fallout 4 DLC just out of the gate. As good as they are, and they are prestigious in their own right, I don't feel that they can compete with the quality and the content of Hitman and World of Warcraft Legion.
So I'm about to say something, John.
Go for it,
I'm about to speak some foolish shit.
Okay.
I think Hitman needs to go.
Wow.
You gotta fight for it, John.
But
You
here,
make Kenny fight.
here's my reason. Hitman is not an add-on DLC. It is a game that they released in segments.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not exactly in this category.
But Kenny, every piece of Hitman is DLC.
Sure, but it is its own beast, and I think that
Everything in Hitman is DLC.
But it is its own beast, and I don't think it belongs.
You
in
blink
this.
you blink at
But
Hitman
can't
and
you-
you're having to pay $4.99 to $9.99.
Sure.
But can't you say that about WoW Legion, though? Every single piece of... it's an expansion.
No,
No, 'cause the
and
way-
you pay
The way that Hitman's set up is they release it in
It's
chapters.
episodic.
So
Episodic,
you have
okay.
a new environment and a
Right.
new story area to go and explore and to mess with, right? And so it's now with their 5th chapter.
The last chapter.
Yeah, well, they're leading into season
So
2.
it's-
They're going to carry it over.
It's a
into-
DLC game.
Yes, absolutely.
It's its own
it's set up
genre now.
like it's set up-
Hitman embodies like I am a game that I'm the DLC game.
yeah,
like
it-
I'm
it's-
going the route.
It's set up like Telltale games, like they
Gotcha.
Yes, that's a good
Yeah.
point.
piecemeal it out, and I
That's-
think that's a whole nother category.
And
That
it
is
worked.
I think that it
it
you could
works
consider
for
that
it,
a genre
right?
By itself.
It
Yeah.
works for it, but it's not a category that we are ready to give a superlative for.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a category that has grown enough to become its own
Because
category.
I think Telltale has its own category.
Yeah, I think that like in this category, I think it's WoW Legion hands down, and I think that that Hitman has got to go.
I think you're right, and yeah, you're
All right.
you're absolutely right.
I've selected it, John.
yeah, no,
Press the button.
yeah, go for it.
It's gone.
Yeah.
WoW Legion.
World of Warcraft Legion is the best DLC, expansion, add-on, etc. What do we got next? That was a lot quicker than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Oh man,
All right, next category is best use of photorealism.
I like this
This is
category.
This is gonna be good.
This is a fun category.
Let me
Yeah.
find that here on my Google Doc.
You want to read off the nominees?
Okay. Battlefield 1, Uncharted 4. We're including Final Fantasy 15. I know a lot of other places haven't done that. People. The Last Guardian, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Mafia 3.
Okay, that's a good
Okay.
list.
I thought so. I think that capitalized on photorealism.
I'm not gonna try to add in anything.
Are you sure you don't want to add Planet Coaster or Overwatch to this?
He's
Overwatch
probably-
might be good.
Oh my
Just
god.
joke. Just joke. I do think we did miss one.
But-
Star Citizen.
But
No, it's not out
it's
yet.
not even out. Yeah.
Son of a bitch. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's get down. I think straight up, Last Guardian goes.
I think you're
Why?
wrong.
Whoa, that was a quick response. I look at that game and I think it's stylized. I don't think it's photorealism. Given I've not played a lot of it, I've only played like the first hour.
Mhm.
But I don't feel like the characters are realistic. I don't think that the buildings and stuff look realistic. I think it's all stylized art. I don't think it is photorealism in the same way that Battlefield 1, Uncharted, or Rise of the Tomb Raider is.
That's a good argument. That is. Yep. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Okay.
As much as I wanted to fight that one coming out of it, you're right.
I'll probably talk a lot about it in
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah,
We'll
no,
get
that's
there.
fine.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
All right.
We'll get there.
Now the tough part.
Yep.
And the part you're
Okay.
probably also going to disagree with me on.
Mm-hmm.
Final Fantasy 15's got to go.
No.
Mafia 3's got to go.
While I do want to give a shout out to Mafia 3,
Mm-hmm.
Mafia 3 looked great
Mm-hmm.
in some parts,
Some parts.
Yes.
and then in
Yes,
other
other
parts,
part-
it looked like utter shite.
It looked very almost PS2 in some
Yeah.
areas or some areas. It's the texture fidelity
Yep.
was quite lacking.
And I think that's what Final Fantasy 15 is as well.
Absolutely.
Like-
There are times in areas where at a distance.
You just
I
it
was
looks
just gonna say the
gorgeous.
landscape.
Yes. But when
Yeah.
you get up close and you're going in fine detail,
Yeah.
like everything looks, or not everything, but there are things that look very
It
washed
looks
out.
very muddy.
Yes, and characters that are not main characters up close
Oh my god.
look god awful.
Yeah, I remember.
they
I
do.
made that comment to you. I'm like,
Yes.
you can tell what they put time into and what they.
They did
They
not
just do
put
copy,
time
paste,
into
copy,
NPCs.
paste.
They did not. No. So that one's gone.
Yep.
So now we've got our 3 here,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that to me,
Mhm.
number 1 is Uncharted 4.
Well, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Battlefield 1, Uncharted 4. Rise of the Tomb Raider, it looks great.
Yeah.
But it can't stand up to Uncharted 4. Just being
Just
honest.
straight up, yeah.
Yeah. So Rise of the Tomb Raider can go.
Okay. I have a really hard time cutting Battlefield 1 because Battlefield 1 looks.
I feel the
good.
same way. I feel it because there are times where I'm just like I feel like I'm in the trenches, man.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't.
I feel like I'm there.
Yeah, and that's even on console. Like,
Yeah.
On PC it looks great, but
Yeah.
on console it looks just as
Just
good.
as good. And that's an
That's-
accolade in and of itself,
Yeah,
right?
that's a. Yeah.
Ah.
So to me, I think maybe this is a 2 category.
But let's be real honest. Uncharted 4 is a console game, right?
Yep.
It's one of the only console games, maybe ever, that people will look at and say, this looks as good, if not better, than any PC game out now.
Yeah, that's fair.
It is one of those games, and that's maybe happened 2 or 3 times in all
Yeah.
of gaming history, I would say. You know, I'd make another bold statement there.
Yeah.
I think the Uncharted 4 is just damn gorgeous in every way. From use of animation, there is a complete lack of jank.
Yeah.
Everything,
No, you're right.
everything is. You have to remind yourself that it's a game at times. Everything is a movie about that.
I did it.
Everything is directed.
I did it.
You make a really
He did
good
it.
point there when everything looks like a movie at that point, and that's to me that's what I feel like is photorealistic is when you're like, wow, is this CGI? Is this movie? No, this is all in game.
Well,
Yeah.
there were plenty of times in Uncharted 4 where I'm watching either a cinematic or playing the game, no matter what moment it was, just driving through the scenery in the Jeep, where
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't believe I'm playing this.
The waterfall scene specifically where you're.
Yeah, and to
yeah.
carry it forward to the characters, I had to remind myself like these aren't real people.
Yeah, these are video
These are voice
game-
actors. These are voice actors conveyed on top of polygons, not people themselves. You know, it's to the
Yeah.
point where watching those characters in the game, you know, Elena becomes a real person to me.
Yeah,
Nathan becomes a real person. Sully, Sam, all of them become real people.
yeah. Yeah,
I think Uncharted 4 absolutely defines photorealism.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Best use of photorealism, Uncharted 4.
With Battlefield as the second.
No, we just
No,
removed
we just-
Battlefield.
But yes, Battlefield definitely
Yeah,
has a
we
hearty.
definitely need
I'm
to get
throwing you-
a metric on
Yeah.
how to do these
I'm
these
throwing you
categories
a
next time.
bone, Kenny.
It's okay.
Battlefield 1 definitely deserves the second spot there. So what do we have next?
Next is best art design.
Okay, this is a fun one.
Okay. Abzu, The Solus Project, The Witness, No Man's Sky, Overwatch,
Mhm.
Hyper Light Drifter, Risk of Rain, Inside, Shadow of the Beast, Let It Die, and Super Hot.
Okay. No Man's Sky goes
Wow.
out of the gate.
Okay, I'm glad I didn't have to say it. I also think that
And to justify that quickly, I think No Man's Sky, in theory, has a better art design, but in practice, if I'm talking about the actual game and gameplay, it's too procedural to stand up to anything else on
Yeah.
this list.
I would
I
agree.
think Let It Die and Inside both go.
Let It Die goes. I would agree with you.
I would have to say Inside, same as Kenny, because I don't know, like, to me, it almost looked like we've already
It's
seen
al-
it in
we've
Limbo.
already seen it in Limbo, yeah.
I already
That
saw
was
it in
my thing.
Limbo.
Yeah.
There's, like,
It's-
nothing really new
Yeah,
about
it is in the art design
It's not
style. It is a. how do I want to say this? It is Limbo of 2016
Yeah.
Yeah.
from an art standpoint,
It's gone.
and
I
it
think-
looked great. Like it
Yeah.
looked fantastic.
I think Overwatch goes.
Ouch.
I am a
Okay, sell me on it going.
I love me some Overwatch.
Uh-huh.
Oh, we know.
However, it goes back to that argument of we knew what we were getting from Blizzard.
Uh-huh.
We saw like not that this was going to be like a surprise or anything like that, but we knew that they're going to pour money and they're going to get really good fidelity
Mm-hmm.
on all the characters. They're going to make it look real
Right.
stylized. And I think it's stylized. I don't think it's style or art. I don't think that like when I look at Overwatch, I don't think art. When I look at
Mhm.
The Witness, I think art.
Yeah.
When I
Yeah.
look at Abzu, I
Yeah.
think art.
Well, it's almost like what's the word I'm looking for with it? It's almost like it's been put before a community or put before. It's been marketed and pandered towards.
Marketed. That's a very good word.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
pandered towards a certain area, right? Like they know that those graphics in Overwatch are going to appeal to a wide audience.
Yeah.
Like it's going to get your TF2 people, it's going to get your Pixar people, your Disney people. Like I mean, it's all going to be wrapped up. It's going to have that wide appeal, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like they did market it very intentionally in that direction and create it that
Yeah.
way.
And are you ready for this next one, John?
Okay.
I think Shadow of the Beast and Super Hot both go.
Shadow of the Beast, I've got to at least give a shout out for,
Okay.
in that the best and only good thing that game has going for it is the art.
Yeah.
It is very almost a French art design, I would say, and I love it. Like I love the design of the characters. The world, not so much.
Yeah.
I feel like the characters themselves, the monsters, are what I love about Guillermo del
Yeah.
Toro. But at that point,
You should.
does it
everything
stand
should
on
make you love
does it stand on its own legs, and is the rest of the game artistic?
Yeah.
And I would say when it comes down to it, I just like the monster design in Shadow of the Beast, so I'm okay with that.
and Super Hot. Now hear me out here. I think Super Hot is stylized.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, I don't think art. I think
Yeah.
I think that
I get
with
that.
the very limited palette they use,
Mhm.
I can't say that.
Yeah. Lindsay.
Yeah.
Could you argue for Super Hot being art? No.
All right.
Does it strike you as the visuals artistic?
No.
Okay.
I
yeah.
like minimal, but no.
Now
Yeah.
here comes the 1-2, John. Hyperlight Drifter or Risk of Rain. I feel like those two are very similar in the same vein
Yeah.
with the pixel art.
If
which
I had to pick, I'd say Hyperlight Drifter.
I'm with Lindsay on that.
Lindsay's right. Lindsay's right.
Oh, I'm sorry, John.
No, you're fine. And just like that, I'm probably the one person here who's played the Solus Project.
Yeah.
Lindsay has seen me play it late at night.
Yeah.
Refresher.
It is the very dark, bleak. You play as an astronaut on an alien planet. It's one of the ones that you came up to me with headphones on while I'm playing it in the dark and touched my shoulder, and I freaked out.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yes,
Yeah. It's
yes.
very sci-fi survival.
I love the art
Yeah.
design.
Yeah.
I love the aesthetic. That is a fantastic game, and I swear to God, Kenny, if you've not played it, 2017 has to be the year of the Solus Project.
Yeah, I've got it downloaded. I just hadn't played it yet.
Yep. So yeah, Solus Project, great art design, great world building, but is it as artistic, in my opinion, as the rest of these games?
Can we-
I
can
don't
I-
think so.
I
think
say
it's
no.
I think it's
Yeah.
like Mass Effect. It looks great,
Yeah.
but it's not
Yeah.
not art.
Just a quick insert here. I wanted to push Last Guardian on this list.
Mm-hmm.
He made a good point about it.
Well,
being
I mean, we can
stylized.
always
I,
add.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to add Last Guardian on the best art
Yep.
design because when you have art design that can push emotion,
Yeah.
and story,
Mm-hmm.
that's
No,
really
that's fair.
important. I mean, you have to talk about it.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think that to me,
Mm-hmm.
this list is Abzu,
Mm-hmm.
The Witness, and one game to be named.
I think that The Witness erases Abzu from this list.
Ooh.
And here's why. I think Abzu goes in off of the coattails of Journey
I agree.
and trying
Yeah.
to imitate very specifically. And I love Abzu.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. No, don't get.
Yeah.
I mean, it is beautiful.
But I think
it's-
that
yeah.
it goes in with an objective and not with it doesn't go in with like the freedom and nuance of art.
Yeah.
Art shouldn't have to try to be art. It should just be art.
I think.
And
that
I
there
feel
are-
like to
I-
a degree, Abzu tried very hard to be what it is.
Because
And
there-
it
yeah.
succeeded. It did a great job.
Sure.
we're at a crossroads though when it comes to like we already got such an impactful and beautiful game from Journey. It's like, where does
Yeah.
Namsu stand behind it? It sucks because
Mhm.
it's like you're coming off that, and it's like
It's
it
in
is a
Journey
beautiful
Shadow.
game,
It's in Journey
exactly.
Shadow.
And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a beautiful game. Don't get me wrong, but it's just you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll
Art,
that
and
word-
that's my philosophy, right? Like art shouldn't have to try to be
Yeah.
art.
Yeah, that's fair. So now we get to
Yeah, we're definitely down to the three. So the three that are going to make the list, right? But
Yeah.
now we need to figure out order.
Position.
So between The Witness, Hyperlight Drifter, and Last Guardian,
I think that is the order.
I was thinking the same thing. I think The Witness is one of the most artistic things that I've seen
Yeah.
in media.
That game does so much right with
Yeah.
the way it uses its art assets.
I mean, without even getting too much into the gameplay itself, I've never
Yeah.
had a game captivate me on every
just,
level.
Just
every
looking at
level.
the level design, like just looking at like the art on the
Yeah.
box, you're just like, huh, that is really unique
Yeah.
and neat.
Well, when you think off of like the old metrics of how games used to be judged, it's things like music, art, graphics. They'll go through controls, gameplay, all these different tally boxes.
yeah,
And The Witness is one of those that hits every freaking one.
yeah,
So
But
yeah,
we're just talking about art design here.
we are,
But-
and that's what I'm trying to preface. Like
Yeah.
the Witness
Well,
just.
the art design plays into the gameplay.
And it
though.
does it so natural, like it
Yeah.
never feels forced.
Yeah.
It almost feels like The Witness existed before anyone created
yeah.
it.
It almost feels like it knew what it was. Like
It
going
don't-
into it, they knew.
Instead of Jonathan Blow conceptualizing The Witness, I think The Witness conceptualized Jonathan Blow.
Oh,
I could see that.
conceptualized.
Like I really do. I think The Witness gave birth to the rest of the world just to play it.
Yeah, okay, I'm sold.
Yeah.
So are we decided?
I think so. I think Hyperlight Drifter over Last Guardian.
I agree. I mean, because that. Oh man.
Hyperlight Drifter looked really good.
It
Yeah.
is. It's fantastic,
Yeah.
and it's definitely one of the
Some
best
of the-
games of
Some
2000.
of the best use of pixel art I've ever seen.
Oh,
Yeah,
I agree.
absolutely, and emotion, right?
Yeah.
Like to convey emotion with pixel art is very hard,
It is.
Yeah.
and it does it in such a way that's gut wrenching. And Last Guardian, there are beautiful things about it, and it is a gorgeous game to behold. But I
Yeah.
feel like when I have to stack one against the other, Hyperlight Drifter just comes out a little on top,
Yeah, I get
just
that.
a little on top.
Okay, so that was it.
Yeah, so best art design goes to The Witness with Hyperlight Drifter at number 2 and Last Guardian pulling in 3. Lindsay, where are we at?
All right. We are moving on to best open world.
Okay. And our nominees?
Best open world game: Watch Dogs 2, Sleep, The Witness, No Man's Sky, Final Fantasy 15.
I think you said Sleep.
Steep.
Steep.
I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses on.
those are useful.
They are. Final Fantasy 15, Hyperlight Drifter, Mafia 3, Far Cry Primal, WoW Legion, and Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Okay. I'm going to say right out the gate that we cut.
I'm gonna say Steep and Mafia 3.
Yes, that is where I was going. Steep was the first one out of my mouth. I'll also say that we cut Far Cry Primal because Far Cry Primal is just a reused map of Far Cry 4.
Okay. I'm also gonna say we cut The Witness. Now here's why.
Okay.
I don't think that The Witness is actually. I mean, it's open world
Mm-hmm.
in the sense that you can do the puzzles and stuff however you
Well,
like.
we have to define open world, right? Like an
Yeah.
open-ended game. Open world, open-ended.
When I think open,
non-linear.
when I
in
think
the-
open
Non-linear,
world,
though.
I think like GTA, something where you have a world that's living by like that is alive and that can live persistently without the player.
Mhm.
The Witness is not that. The Witness needs you there to be able to solve the puzzle so it can continue to move on.
I
and
would argue
progress.
that The Witness gives no, once again, expletive. I would argue that The Witness gives no fucks about you being there.
but
And
it
it
does.
For
exists-
me, it's non-linear. Like the game, like you still have an objective that you have to continue on. You can't just like
If
piss around and
My
do what
my
you
thing
want,
with
though.
open world is if I can travel from point A to point B without having to meet any restrictions, if
But
it's,
with
But you do
with
because
The
you have
Witness,
to finish certain puzzles,
puzzles
to
before
move
you go
on.
into the Newton X area. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but
you may have a point. But then again, I mean, if we place it with that arbitrary, then we're going to have restrictions in any game to prevent us. Like Final Fantasy 15, No Man's Sky, Watch Dogs 2. Like
No,
all of these
I
are
don't
going to
think
have
so. Well, no,
restrictions
because
on where you can go depending on how far you are in
I think
progress.
my issue with The Witness is let's say you're wanting to leave that first area. You need to complete X number of puzzles before you can leave that first area. That is like, yes, in Final Fantasy 15 you have to complete the quests to get through that, but like I think it's just different in that world is persistent enough and big enough to where you can go back and do those other side quests that you picked up in the first area at any point in time. And I guess you can do that in the Witness, but there's just something different about it. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but it doesn't feel like an open world game to me.
I think what feels different to you is the cogs and mechanics that we think about behind the scenes that are going on when we talk open world versus open-ended, right?
Okay.
So something like World of Warcraft Legion, for instance, is also on this list. That is open-ended, but is it open world?
I think World of Warcraft is absolutely open world. Because in World of Warcraft, at any point you can go anywhere you want, and you have cities full of NPCs, of other people. Whereas the Witness, it's just you.
So then, best open world game. What separates the Witness from being open world then?
I think the fact that there's no like cities or major like populous points. To me, like an open world game, you need cities, you need places where people are, you need other NPCs to interact with, and the fact that the Witness is just you solving puzzles doesn't give you that same type of gameplay.
I mean, I'll admit I am on the fence about the Witness even being open world versus open ended.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely open ended. I think it is not open world. But we can come back to that.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm okay with it going.
I'm about to rip this Band-Aid off fast.
I say No Man's Sky goes.
Oh, that was what I was a word for. Yeah.
I think it's the expectations he had for this game has
don't put words in my mouth. I love No Man's Sky. I
Okay,
still love No Man's Sky, but
but
No Man's Sky in 2017 or 2018 or 19, however long that train travels.
Yeah.
Every subsequent year is better, and I feel like every year I'm always going to like more the No Man's Sky of the future than the No Man's Sky of now, which is fine in its own regard.
If you go back to John when No Man's Sky was released, maybe like the first day or two that you played it, could you say that it was the best open world game for you?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Even though you took off a week of work?
Yeah, and I don't regret that week of work that I took off. I had a lot of fun with it, but it's one of those games that I know. It's like I always go to the Saboteur. I flipping love the Saboteur, but I get why others don't, and I get why it wasn't Game of the Year that year, or anything even close.
Yeah.
From any outlet. It's just one of those games that I just enjoy unapologetically.
Sure.
I love No Man's Sky, but it doesn't belong on Best Open World Game.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's where I'm going to cut the next game for me. I think Final Fantasy 15 doesn't belong on here.
I would definitely agree. I think there's a lot of redundancy in the world.
Yep.
And a lot of empty space.
To me, that's a deep cut because, like, while
I
love
want it to be here.
Yeah, while I love the story of Final Fantasy 15, those side quests are just so damn repetitive.
The side quests are awful, and traversing the environment, it's a slog at times.
Yeah.
And it's also there's just a lot of void. Like there's a lot of looking but not touching.
Yeah.
Right. And when I think of like best open world game, I think of something that I want to be immersed in, and I want to have my say so or to be an integral part of that open world, right?
And I think WoW doesn't belong on here either. For the same reasons that we cut the Witness, I think that like you brought that up.
Mm-hmm.
I think that in some aspects you're right. World of Warcraft is not. It is an open world game and an open ended game, but I also don't feel like it represents accurately what I imagine an open world game.
And it's specifically World of Warcraft Legion, not just World of Warcraft.
Right.
So
yeah,
if we parse it down even further to there.
Yeah.
Because what my love of Legion is story and gameplay mechanics and character, additions,
the dungeons and all that stuff.
Not
necessarily
open world.
The world. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm okay with that.
I think you're right.
Yep.
That leaves us with Watch Dogs 2.
This is
Hyperlight Drifter.
This is actually more tough than getting.
Raider.
Yeah, this is more aligning these three is more tough than getting to here for me.
Yeah.
Man,
I really liked Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yes. Yep. Same here.
Like a lot.
I think that Watch Dogs 2 is 3. And I think it's deserving to be on this list because of the effort that was put into recreating the area, a near, real world representation,
Yeah.
and it is good what it does. But Rise of the Tomb Raider does it better. And not in, Rise of the Tomb Raider doesn't recreate anything.
Yeah.
It is just, it's one of those things of what I want out of an open world game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, open world games were a dime a dozen in 2014 and 15. 2016, it's teetering off.
Yeah.
And 2017, I think, is still question marks. But that's one of my favorite game genres, right? Open world games. Rise of the Tomb Raider embodies that to a much hardier degree than Watch Dogs 2.
Yeah.
Watch Dogs 2, what I enjoy about its open world is how I can toy with it.
Yeah.
But Rise of the Tomb Raider, I enjoy just looking at it, being immersed in it, seeing what's happening in it, going around every corner and piecing out every collectible. There's nothing I don't enjoy about that open world.
Yeah. And I'm about to do something that you're not going to be happy with.
Okay.
I think we should cut both Hyperlight Drifter and Watch Dogs 2. And Watch Dogs 2, I think, could stay. That would be fine.
Well, once we're down to 3, if we have 3 there, they're already there.
Yeah, but here's why I don't think that Hyperlight Drifter stays.
Uh-huh.
It's a hub world. It's not open world. You have north, south, east, and west,
Mm-hmm.
and that is your world. You are not in a fully open world. You are in a hub world for sure, and I don't think that's open world.
Yeah, because it comes down to the debate of is like the original NES Zelda an open world game?
Yeah, and I don't think so.
Yeah, I would argue yes, but I understand the argument for no.
Yeah.
And I think if we're going as like a consensus, a mass consensus, I think that they're in the same vein, and I would have to agree.
So.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I think Rise of the Tomb Raider takes this.
Yeah, I think that this is a single winner category.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're right. Not even any 2 or 3 place. I think best open world game, hands down, just number 1. Not even any runner ups. Not any silver or bronze medals here.
Yeah.
It goes to Rise of the Tomb Raider, best open world.
Yep. All right.
That's
Is that everything for today?
Have we hit our midway mark?
Yes.
We have.
Want to hit one more?
We do.
Okay.
Go ahead, Lindsay.
So we're gonna do best online multiplayer.
Oh man.
Yeah. Actually, this is gonna be
This is
fun
gonna be
for
a
all
tough-
three
This
of
is going to
us.
be friggin' tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've got a couple more to add here.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think.
Best online multiplayer.
Planet Coaster.
Nope.
All right.
Hold on, let me.
Yeah, go ahead and read off our ones
I'm
we have
gonna-
so far.
Okay. Paragon, Titanfall 2, Doom, Battlefield 1, Overwatch, Uncharted 4, Deus Ex, Mankind Divided, Killer Instinct Season 3, Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Kenny is now adding
Total War Warhammer.
Yep.
I feel like I had one more. Now I can't remember what it was.
I guess it wasn't that important, was it?
It'll come to me halfway through.
All right. Right out of the gate, I am going to cut. I think Deus Ex Mankind Divided has to go. Its online multiplayer is not really multiplayer.
Yeah, I didn't even know it had multiplayer, honestly.
Yeah, it's honestly a single player affair. It is online single player.
I think Doom has to go too.
Yeah, because like I said, Doom is serviceable,
Yeah.
but it doesn't win this category.
I also feel the same way about Rise of Tomb Raider.
Yeah, there's some really neat things about the multiplayer, right?
Yeah.
Some really neat things.
Yeah, but like I think it and Uncharted 4 both can go, and that's fine.
I was gonna say that about Uncharted 4 for sure, but yeah, in the same vein, Tomb Raider multiplayer tries to be the Uncharted multiplayer of the past, but does some of its own unique things. I think if I had to stack one against the other, Rise of the Tomb Raider would come out on top. But yeah, I think Uncharted 4 and Rise of the Tomb Raider cannot compete with the rest of the nominees on this list.
I also just added World of Warcraft Legion.
Okay, fair enough.
Now this is where it gets tough.
Mm-hmm.
I think between Battlefield 1 and Titanfall 2,
Uh-huh.
I would take Titanfall 2.
I agree with a heavy acknowledgement of Battlefield 1.
Yeah.
With like a heavy,
Yeah,
like
I
don't-
love Battlefield
like
1.
I agree. It comes down to you kind of have to pit those two against each other,
Yep. And
and not for the obvious reasons,
yeah,
right?
I think that whenever I'm playing Battlefield 1, it's a little bit more stressful.
Yeah,
And when I'm playing Titanfall 2, I'm just smiling like a big dumb idiot.
Yeah.
And like I think that, or I'm sorry, Titanfall 2. I think that is
Yeah.
the difference. So I think Battlefield 1 goes.
yeah. I mean, we had that conversation. We had some of our gameplay sessions or gameplay evenings. Titanfall 2, even when I'm losing, it's like, oh crap, we lost. But like, man, I couldn't tell it until the end because
Yeah.
I'm just having a blast.
Yeah, and Battlefield 1, you don't have that. It's,
Yeah,
It's either you have a really good match or
Yeah.
a terrible match.
And you feel it, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you absolutely feel it. So, yeah, I agree. Titanfall 1, or excuse me, Battlefield 1, is subservient to Titanfall 2 in
Yeah.
that regard. But only barely. Only barely.
So now,
Oh.
of these next three, I think this is the big cut for us here.
Mm-hmm.
Overwatch, Paragon, and World of Warcraft Legion. Which one do we cut first?
Not Paragon.
I think we cut Paragon.
I think we don't. I
Nope.
think we come back to Paragon, if anything.
Okay.
I'm going to argue.
I'm going to fight for Overwatch. I may not fight for WoW, but I will fight for Overwatch.
I'm going to argue that Killer Instinct Season 3 has great online multiplayer.
Yeah,
But once again, does it stand up to some of the others?
I don't think so. I think that it's a great fighting game,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think that like you can put fighting games on the same category as everything else. Like,
Yeah.
unless it's just absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And as much as I love that game, it's not on here.
Does it do anything different in online multiplayer that it couldn't do locally? And-
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think so.
I say that Total Warhammer goes.
I agree. I put it on there just because I wanted to mention it because it's
Yep.
a great multiplayer game. It's
Mhm.
an incredible strategy game. But yeah, I agree. It does need to go.
Because I see Total Warhammer as the single player is up and in your face. Like that's the most important part.
I've
the
always played a
multiplayer-
lot of multiplayer,
And I
personally.
get that, and I respect that. But it caters to a single player.
Yeah, I guess for me, it never has. I've always
Yeah.
played multiplayer, like because there's something really cool about being able to split up your units.
I agree. Yeah, I
But
agree.
yeah, okay. That one's gone. So
All
Mhm.
right.
the hard one.
Yeah.
I think there can only be one Blizzard game on here.
I agree.
Okay, so Kenny, you
And in
you
in that
figure out
case-
which one you
Well,
want.
in that case, World of Warcraft's got to go, hands down. Like Overwatch stays on this list over WoW. That's just how it is.
Can we lose Titanfall 2?
No.
No.
Oh.
I'm not ready to let
John,
go.
you cut it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do this.
All right.
Ah,
Bye, WoW.
There goes.
See ya.
Ah.
Okay, so now we're down to Paragon, Titanfall 2, and Overwatch. I think this is very much a top three. Like
Yeah.
this
Oh,
is
yeah.
all of these get mentioned.
You guys are going to disagree, but I think Overwatch wins this.
I disagree.
See, I told you.
disagree too.
You guys are going to say Paragon wins it.
No, actually, I think it's each individual one. I want Paragon, he wants Titanfall 2, and you want Overwatch.
Yep. She's nailed it. So,
So-
now
Oh, you're
now
about
we
to
have
say-
to go around the table.
now we
here.
have to parse order.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh sweet God.
Okay. So I've got to come up with a really good argument for why Overwatch. Okay, I got it.
Okay, hit me.
Okay, I think Overwatch wins this because we knew Overwatch was going to be good coming into the game.
Mhm.
You know, when we played that first beta, we knew.
Mm-hmm.
What really set it apart is how well Blizzard has balanced each one of the characters.
I would disagree with you. I'm
I-
sorry. I repeatedly hear people in the esports community complain. I mean, on a competitive level, maybe, but it's the fact that unfortunately, what might be good in the competitive scene doesn't roll over well into casual players, and constant people complaining about how there's 4 divas in my game. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a constant battle, and I keep hearing it constantly on Twitter and on Reddit.
Damn, she's got
You know, Kitty's feeling it because all I'm hearing is him breathing into the mic, like over and over. Maybe move your mic up just a little bit
Nope.
because you're getting it.
Nope, I'm going to.
You're just gonna keep breathing. No, it's coming from your nose. It's coming down. I can hear it in my headset. Yeah, it's that. Thank you.
Okay, I'll concede.
I mean, do you have any? I mean, because that,
I mean,
that was my argument to that
yeah.
first point. But do you have any other?
It's hard to argue that because you're right. Like, yeah, the balance of whenever there are 5 of one player on one team is
Even 2 or 3. I mean,
is
it's
an issue. Yeah, you're right. But other than that,
I think Overwatch is 2, and I think figuring out what is 1 and what is 3 becomes the difficult part.
in that case, if Overwatch is 2,
Mm-hmm.
I think that Titanfall 2 is 3.
You're probably right.
Because
Yeah.
I honestly think that Paragon has done a really good job this year.
I mean, seriously, like, you have the early access, you have the closed, and then the open beta. Like, the way they've transitioned over, like, they've done an amazing job. And the fact that it's cross-platform, like, I can't even... I'm sorry, that's just... I have to bring praises for them.
That's also a really good point.
Yeah.
The cross-platform nature of Paragon is
Yeah.
it's kind of what we want out of like all online games,
no,
all
you're right,
online
you're right.
multiplayer games.
They're doing a good job.
I didn't
not
even think about that.
singling.
Yeah.
They're doing an amazing job not singling people out too, because the way they've kind of switched, they completely redid the map, right?
Mm-hmm.
They wanted a more fast-paced environment because they wanted people not to, 40 minutes per match. You don't need to do that unless it's like LOL or Dota. But so they've made it faster. Matches aren't as long. But,
and just their
really,
their sheer dedication to improvement and never settling for anything.
No, I think you're right. I think Paragon wins this.
Yeah.
With Overwatch in second.
And it hurts me to put Titanfall at 3. I'm happy it made the list, but it still does hurt to put it 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Paragon takes it. I really do.
Wait. Yeah. I just had an
oh!
argument to say Paragon shouldn't be on this list.
Okay.
It's not finished yet.
I mean, does a game have to be finished to make the list?
Yeah. I think that you can only have games on this list that have been launched and that are not in early access.
Uh-huh.
Because technically Paragon didn't come out last year. Paragon's be coming out this year.
It's an open beta.
It's open beta, and you can pay for everything that's in the game already.
Yeah.
You can already you're paying the finished product.
At this point, is it a finished product or is it a technical beta? Like,
so
is it a...
in that aspect, could I add Divinity Original Sin 2, since it's technically, in early access as well?
But is it anywhere close to done?
Yeah, I mean the first act is done.
So I don't think that argument carries as much salt.
I think it does.
We're talking about the online multiplayer.
Yeah.
When you're just looking at the online multiplayer experience.
If I am honest with myself and thinking about my best, most fun online multiplayer experience that I've had this year, I think I've got to give it to Paragon.
Okay. You guys win. I'm not.
If I think about, hey, Kenny, what is an easy go-to? What is one that I don't have to put effort into thinking about what I want to play? I can just sit down and jump back into it and just be... It's like riding a bike at that point, and it's your best bike. It's shiny. It's got that cool horn on it.
Yeah, but it's missing a few screws.
But what online multiplayer game isn't?
Most of them that are out.
They're all missing screws. Overwatch is missing screws, and because it's a Blizzard game, it'll be missing screws until 2020.
Maybe.
Because Blizzard is never done with their games.
That is very true.
Okay. Let's just call it Paragon is the winner of the multiplayer online.
He's having a hard day.
It's rough with that one.
It's a game now.
Paragon wins best online multiplayer. Overwatch number 2.
It does.
And Titanfall 2 at 3, which hurts me. There is still a part of my brain that wants Titanfall to win that.
Number 2, don't. I'm just saying.
If Titanfall, if Paragon leaves number 1, Titanfall is number 1.
That is lunacy.
We would never leave this room.
Okay.
We all make concessions here.
I know. I have not put Stardew Valley or Planet Coaster on a list in a while. So I'm feeling a little itchy right now.
Oh, and I mean that concludes recording 1 of our Game of the Year deliberations. I believe we're good. This is part 1, wrapping it up.
Yeah, this is part
It
one.
ended well, didn't it, Kenny?
Yeah.
Kenny's like, oh god.
I,
It's like,
I
oh.
don't have a soul anymore.
I feel like you ripped out my. You didn't have a soul, anyways, right?
True, true. Now I have negative soul.
You look over and I'm holding your pancreas.
Well, I guess that's one way to look at it.
Oh, but
there's always next time, Kenny.
Yep.
Always next time.
but for Kenny Hall and my lovely wife Lindsay, I've been John Carter, and this is Hardly Casual. I hope that you've joined. I hope that you've joined us. Yes, but I also hope that you have enjoyed round one, and we will be back sooner rather than later.
Yep.
Kenny,
John.
thanks, buddy.
Yep.
We're out.
See ya.